Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Goeiemiddag, dames en here. Dumelang Bomme Li Bontate. It's a bit awkward to know that this will be our last session of the online engineering week, and it's a bit sentimental, it's a bit emotional because we've been spending these afternoons together for the past 2 weeks, and so everything must also come to an end. So vanmiddag het ons 'n laaste iets wat ons daar vir julle wil neersit. En vandag is spesifiek gemik op ons graad 12's en 11's in terme van wiskunde en fisiese wetenskap. The purpose of today's session is to discuss a tutor program that's running from the Faculty of Engineering, specifically focusing on prospective engineering students in grade 12 as well as grade 11. And then, of course, we always have the opportunity of you asking questions. So if you have questions, just pop them right here on the side in the live chat. Pop those questions. En julle is natuurlik ook welkom om enige vrae te vra wat daar nog mag wees wat ons dan sal hanteer tydens vanmiddag se sessie. But to get things going, I'm going to introduce our first guest, and she is Caitlin van der Merwe. Caitlin, goeiemiddag. Can you please tell us a bit about yourself before we talk about the tutor program? Just tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, so hi guys. I'm currently a postgraduate. I'm doing my master's in chemical engineering. So I had the wonderful opportunity of having Cornelius as my lecturer and also study leader. And then also I'm part of numerous tutoring programs. So yeah, what we're going to speak about today is really just something that I enjoy.
Thank you very much, Caitlin. Now, this tutor program, can you please tell us about the history of it and what exactly does it entail?
Okay, yeah, so during lockdown, the dean of our faculty got this wonderful idea of starting this tutoring program to help grade 12 learners. So initially we were only working with grade 12 learners and then sort of expanding it to grade 11 learners. So how it started was schools were closing because of lockdown and the coronavirus, and we got in contact with the Government Baking Mathematical Centre and asked them if we could use their material in order to have these classes for grade 12 learners to make sure that they don't get behind on their schoolwork.
Lovely. So, let's get to the nitty-gritty, and for that, I'm going to introduce Kara Prinsloo. Kara, vertel ons 'n bietjie van jouself. Wie is jy? Van waar kom jy? En dan het ek 'n vraag vir jou spesifiek oor die tutorprogram.
Sorry, I apologize. I'm also a chemical engineering postgraduate student at the Northwest University. I'm specifically looking at a bit of flue gas desulfurization, very important for load shedding, as you all know. And yes, I'm also just one of the tutors. Caitlin actually approached me and asked me if I wanted to join the program. Perhaps we can reach out and help a lot of students that way. So that's just a little bit about me.
Thank you very much, Kara. Now, can you tell me these tutor classes, how exactly do these classes work? Take us through that.
Okay, so initially we started with two WhatsApp groups, and we also worked with an Ifundi site that the learners had access to. But at the moment, we added all of the required students on two WhatsApp groups, one for physical science and one for mathematics. And on these groups, we send a lot of messages, one weekly message, just telling the students what topics will be discussed during the week in both mathematics and in science, for example, probability and the photoelectric effect. And then we also have daily messages that we share on these groups with the specific login information required to allow the students to join the classes of their choosing. So what they had to do was to install the Zoom app, and then we provide them with the ID and password, and then they can choose where they want to attend which classes. And the way we also approach this is we are 5 students. So every student gets a chance to present a class during the week, and these classes are repeated in both English and in Afrikaans to ensure that everyone gets a chance to go through the theory and also a tutorial session. The tutorial session is especially popular since we go through previous exam papers, and we also, of course, take a look at a touch tutor guide that has a lot of problems, and we sit with the students, we talk through the problems with them, and they actually get the chance to struggle on their own and see how far they get and how prepared they are for the upcoming exam. So that's about the gist of that.
Ek hou reg. Sorry for that. So yes. So Cara, baie dankie wat jy gedeel het. Wat ons dus hoor is hier is uit die aard van die saak Afrikaans, Engels en 'n spesifiek wiskunde en fisiese wetenskap waarop gefokus word. En die leerders kan dan kies watter van hierdie sessies wil hulle bywoon, en dan is daar ook Zoom sessies waar jy dan spesifiek deur probleme werk en spesifiek ook deur ou vraestelle werk ten einde daai konsepte vas te maak. So dis wat ek hoor. Now, before I have a couple of questions, but I just want to introduce also Johan de Veer. Johan, tell us a bit about yourself.
Hello, like he said, my name's Johan. I'm currently studying towards my mechanical engineering in machine dynamics and energy. So we're trying to retrieve lost energy through vibrations, and that's the goal of it. And I'm looking forward to work with students as well. I'm currently busy with a few other programs with Caitlin as well. We work together at one academy for engineers specifically, and so it's very rewarding to see people develop their maths and physics skills to go to university as engineers.
Right. Johan, my question to you would be, why would you say is this tutor program important to grade 12s? And we'll get to the grade 11s now, but why would you say is it important?
Well, it's important for only one reason. It's for your benefits, solely for your benefits. So if you get feedback from students currently that they can finally understand the work that we're going through, as if this is only because it's the second time they're going through the work. And it gives you an opportunity, like Cara said, to struggle with the work. And in the cases where you've struggled too much, where you kind of want to give up and throw the towel in, we are there to give you just a little bit of a hint towards which knowledge you need to use and finally be able to master the problem. It helps commit, sorry, I made a few notes. I just want to read a few. This helps you to overcome these struggles, and it is to help you develop your skill in self-study, because it will decrease the big jump that you have from matric to university, where it's kind of expected of you to read the material yourself, and the lecturer is there just to connect the dots. So we kind of in between of those, where the teacher is feeding you with a spoon and a lecturer just saying, listen, you have to read the notes and master it on your own, basically. So we're in between. We help you develop your skills going to university. Yes.
Baie dankie Johan. Caitlin, ek het 'n vraag vir jou. Mense daar buite, veral ouers, weet dit baie spesifiek. Hulle spandeer duisende rande op ekstra klasse en al die klas van goeders. Sê vir my, vir 'n graad 12 wat tans ingeskryf is vir ingenieurswese by die NWI, wat gaan dit so 'n student kos om deel te word van hierdie tutorprogram vir wiskunde en vir fisiese wetenskap?
So, Corneels, hulle gaan heel moontlik nou van hulle stoel afval, maar dit is verniet. So, hierdie wonderlike materiaal wat ons vir julle gee, klasse waar ons hulp vir julle aanbied, dit is absoluut verniet, mits jy reeds ingeskryf is vir ingenieurswese by die NWI. En dan ook...
Right, so die...
Sorry? Nee, dan wil ek net noem, vir graad 11 gaan dit wel nou ietsie meer kos, soos ek genoem het, ons gaan hierdie nou net bietjie groter maak en die graad 11 nou ook soos intrek in hierdie. Vir hulle gaan dit wel R750 kos vir die hele jaar, wat beteken dit kos soos R20 'n sessie, wat nog steeds ongelooflik goedkoop is.
So, if I hear you correctly, if you are in matric and you are currently planning on studying engineering at the NWU, you are basically you registered for studying engineering, it will be free of charge. Well, you'll have to, there are some data costs and that involved, but the long and the short is to be part of this online tutoring program for maths and physical science, it will cost you nothing. And if you are in grade 11 and you are interested in doing this, this will cost you, listen, 750 Rand for the entire year. Not 750 Rand per month, 750 Rand for the entire year. And this tutor program will then be expanded also to include you. Right. So, Caitlin, I have another question for you, because it's like a very mark ad now, what we are running here, basically. So the question I have is, if parents out there, because normally it will be the parents, they're like, paying 750 Rand for 6 months is much cheaper than paying 5,000 Rand a month for extra mathematics and physical science classes. How can they enroll? How can they become part of this tutoring program?
Okay, so we have on our engineering site, there is a link that the students can just follow, and you will have to fill out the Google form, give us some information about yourself, and then we will get back to you. So on our website, just follow the link and just fill out the form and submit it. You only have this week to become part of this program, so please remember to follow the link.
Right, so daar het julle dit. Op die NWI ingenieursblad, events and initiatives, daar's 'n drop-down menu. Just click on events and initiatives and you will see the online tutor program as one of the sub-menus. You can go in there, all the information is there, you can click on it, and you then have the opportunity to enroll for this. And as I understand, Caitlin, you have this week to sign up and become part of this. This is it's a golden opportunity. If you are thinking about studying engineering, or you're thinking about just in a broader sense, you want to improve on your maths or physical science marks, then this is an ideal opportunity to do that. Right. Now, we also have today with us, as promised last week, the Executive Dean, Professor Liesel van Dijk. Sy is weer saam met ons in die ateljee. Sy het gevra, sy wil graag aan die einde saam wees. So as daar enige vrae is wat jy wil vra oor enigiets rakende ingenieurswese, voel vry om die vrae net hierbo vir ons te tik en sy sal vir daai vrae antwoord. If there are any questions, now is your last opportunity to do it live. It's not the last opportunity. You can always send us an email, but this will be your last opportunity to send a message live. Right. Lisa, I'm going to ask you a question. Good afternoon, first of all.
Good
So
afternoon.
my question to you would be, if you think about this tutoring program, what would your message be to the people watching out there today?
Maybe I can answer that by just telling you where this came from. I'm not only the executive dean of the faculty, I'm also a parent, and I also have a matriculant in my house. And I always I realized that this whole year turned out quite differently than planned. And I also know that confidence, knowledge, but also confidence in maths and science is very important for success in engineering studies. So so my message is the purpose of this whole program is really because we already engage with you now, even though you will be our student next year. What happens to you now, what happens to you this year, is important to us. And I'm very grateful towards our students, not only to teach maths and science, but also to excite, to share their passion about engineering with the others. Yeah, so my message is this is really just because we would like you to be best prepared for next year.
Wonderful. So, we've now spent 10 days. This is our 11th day. And today, this message is actually a gift to everyone. If you think about this, this is an ideal opportunity for those who want to improve their marks in mathematics and science and make sure you make the final cut and reach your dream, reach your goal, and be able to do that. So we are more than willing to, and you are welcome to join in this initiative. But, so, just thinking back over the last 2 weeks, if there are still any questions you might have, some of the videos you missed, they will be available online, and you will be able to view those videos at your own leisure, in your own time. And if you have any questions with regards to those, you will be able to see what we have there online. Liesel, I'm checking the system. It looks like I don't see any questions at this point in time specifically for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the floor to you. If you can just make a general closing statement. We're at the end of the conference now. It's the end of these 2 weeks. What would be your closing statement to the students out there that is watching?
I think a good way to end this is the way that we started. So when last Monday, the previous Monday, when I had the privilege of meeting you, I reminded you about the vision of our faculty, and I told you that at the Faculty of Engineering we would like to change the world, and we do that in many ways. We do it first of all by educating engineers, and that is you, people that can and want to change the world. And I also told you that we would like to change the world by solving real life problems. And I trust that, and I also told you that we solve this problem in a multidisciplinary way. We work together with each other, we work together with our industry partners, our community. And I hope and I trust that in the past 2 weeks, you saw that. I hope you saw through the presentations, through the sharing of our current initiatives by Professor Leenta and Dr. Henry. I hope you saw some practical examples. I hope you heard from our students that being a student, that your career as engineer already start as being a student. I hope that you learned about all of the other disciplines. You learned that there's many ways, uh, many places for many types of persons in our faculty, depending on what your interest and your aptitude is. And I hope that you saw that that you have the ability, you have the opportunity to use your maths and science skills, to use your passion for innovation and for design to change the world. And yeah, I think that's summarizing, closing the loop from the first message that I've given and closing again.
Thank you very much, Prof. Liesel. There's a question from the floor, and I'm going to pass the question to you, Cara. So the question is,
Okay. Baie dankie vir jou vraag, Jak. Ja, dit sal natuurlik help. Die programme is spesifiek georganiseer rondom die CAPS syllabus. So ons behandel letterlik stukkie vir stukkie die werk wat julle in julle werkboeke kan verwag. Dit is nou beide vir matrieks en vir graad 11's, maar vir die graad 11's is dit op hierdie stadium meer van 'n hersiening, veral vir wat belangrik gaan wees in jou matriekjaar. Ek hoop dit beantwoord jou vraag. As enige van die ander tutors enigiets wil bylas, is julle meer as welkom.
Kan ek ook, ja, ek wil dalk ook net gou byvoeg, ek dalk het dit in die begin gesê, maar hierdie tutorprogram is gebaseer, die materiaal wat ons gebruik is in samewerking met die Government Bekkie Wiskunde en Wetenskap Ontwikkelingsentrum. So this center, the Government Bekkie Math and Science Development Center is from the Nelson Mandela University, and we have a collaboration agreement with them. So it's not just some tutor sessions that was thought out by the students. It's part of a program that was developed over years, and it's aimed at the school curriculum. So the material that's being used and the methods of teaching is taken from that center, and it's based on scientific and pedagogical scientific principles. So it's absolutely directed towards helping you with your school maths.
Thank you very much. We have another question. Christine Rousseau, baie dankie vir jou vraag. As jy die Zoom klasse mis omdat jy besig is, kan jy dit op 'n later stadium kyk en is R720 vir wiskunde en fisiese wetenskap klasse of net vir een van hulle? Dis R750 en sy wil weet of is dit net vir die een of is dit vir albei. So just to repeat that in English, if you missed the Zoom classes, have you missed them? Has that ship gone? Is there a way of catching up? And then the second thing, is it R750 only for the maths and R750 for the physical science, or is it a combination of is it R750 for both? Caitlin, I'm going to ask you that question.
Okay, thank you so much for the question. So it is R750 for both of them. So yeah, this is really a bargain. I will really encourage you to join the classes. It's so cheap. And then with regards to missing a class, unfortunately, we aren't recording the classes just because the material of the Government Bekkie Mathematical Center is so valuable. So we don't just want to throw it out there. So when you pay, you secure a place for yourself to use the material. So we really want to develop a program that will help you to make it able for you to join at a time that will suit you. So that's why our classes are quite late in the afternoon, and also for the grade 11s, we aren't going to have there isn't going to be classes like every single day, only a certain day in the week. So I would just encourage you to really try and make sure that day for that 1 hour, or it's going to be 2 hours, and for maths and science, for those 2 hours that you set that time aside to make sure that you join the classes.
Baie dankie, Caitlin. So, Christine, dis R750 punt vir 'n graad 11. Dit is die totale bedrag. En jy weet self wat betaal ouers per module per maand vir ekstra klasse. En vat daai bedrag wat al betaal is vir ekstra klasse en weeg dit op teen R750 eenmalig en daar het jy dit. So ek dink dit is 'n baie goeie inisiatief en dit is iets, maar ja, so dis dit. Volgende vraag, Johan, ek gaan hom vir jou vra, maar dit is ook 'n maklike een hierso. Sanet Joubert wil weet, goeiemiddag, hoe kan ek my seun se naam op die WhatsApp groep kry? Hy is voorwaardelik gekeur vir bedryfsingenieurswese vir volgende jaar. Okay, Johan, kouers optrek, Caitlin, ek's terug by jou. So how did they get added to the WhatsApp group?
Soos ek genoem het, jy moet daai Google vorm moet jy invul in hierdie week en dan gaan ons terugkom na jou toe. So daar gaan 'n vraag wees waar jy e-posadres moet insit. So ons gaan vir jou 'n e-pos terugstuur en vir jou sê hier is die link vir die WhatsApp groepe. So jy hoef glad nie bekommerd nou te wees nie. Vul net die vorm in. Maak seker jou inligting is korrek en dan kom ons terug na jou toe.
Right, so I'm just going to repeat that clearly. Go to engineering.nwu.ac.za. And on that engineering page, you will see there is a sub-menu events and initiatives. Just click on events and initiatives. There we have a drop-down menu. On that drop-down menu, you will see the tutor program. If you click on that, all the information will be provided there. If you are grade 12, you will be asked to complete a Google form. And then there's also information on grade 11s who want to participate and be part of this, because then there's also some financial implications, the 750 Rand that needs to be paid. But if you are already enrolled, you applied, and you want to study engineering, you're grade 12, as is the case with Sanet Joubert son, soos met jou seun, dis nie 'n probleem nie, net daai inligting vir ons invul, en dan sal ons sien, is jy's op ons stelsel in elk geval reeds, en dan sal dit van daar af gaan. En soos Caitlin gesê het, dan sal daar 'n e-pos na jou toe gestuur word met die link wat jou dan sal in staat stel om deel te word van die WhatsApp groep. Zana Kotse is 'n gereelde kyker. Vraag, is daar al inligting oor volgende jaar se begin, aangesien die matriekuitslae eers Maart beskikbaar word? So that's a very good question. When are we going to start with the academic year in 2021? It's a very difficult question, and we need to take out the crystal ball, but that's why we are glad we have the executive dean with us. So what is the latest on that, Prof. Liesel?
Yes, that's indeed something that we need to ons moet baie mooi dophou. Ons kyk self soos wat die tyd aangaan leer ons wat ons weet vir 'n feit, wat ons gehoor het in die media ook, en dis waar, is dat die akademiese jaar, beide die skooljaar en die universiteitsjaar gaan in volgende jaar strek. Ons is gereed om julle te ontvang. Maar ons op hierdie stadium is alle aanduidings dat alles tot in Maart gaan strek, maar dis nie ek wat dit sê nie, dis dinge van nasionale vlak. Maar ons is gereed om julle te ontvang. So ons sal ons laat lei deur wat deur die skool ministerie van basiese onderwys gedoen word, maar dit sal definitief dieper in die jaar wees as wat dit gewoonlik is.
Thank you very much, Liesel. And just to elaborate on that, so primary schools and secondary schools are governed by the Department of Basic Education. And likewise, universities are governed by the Department of Higher Education. So it's not like we can do whatever we want to. There will be guidelines given to the university from the Department of Higher Education. But we will keep you posted. The information will be regularly exchanged. And whenever we need to be ready, we will be ready. And we will be ready to take you in and make you part of the NWU family. Sanet Joubert, jy sê dankie, jy waardeer dit, dis 'n groot plesier. Ek hoop vir jou is dit 'n winskoop. En ek weet nie eens wat kos ekstra klasse deesdae nie, maar R750 vir 6 maande vir 2 vakke klink vir my na 'n bargain. Right. So if there are questions or comments, please feel free to post them in the live chat, and we will be able to cover that. Just reflecting on the 2 weeks, I've now seen a couple of people talking these 2 weeks, and one thing that I can say clearly is that a degree at the Northwest University is an international degree. We've had guests the last 2 weeks actually working at this point in time with their NWU degrees abroad. That is, especially to parents, that's comforting to know that the degree that you obtain from the Northwest University will enable your child to study abroad. And you as a student, prospective student watching this, it's also comforting to you to know that, listen here, this is good. A second thing that I picked up in these 2 weeks was that many an engineer started off studying one field of engineering, and they are currently working in a totally different field of engineering. And to me, that's also positive, as this shows that engineering equips you with a set of skills that will enable you to move in whichever field out there and be able to make a success of your life. That was the second thing that I saw and that I picked up. The third thing, and you should go and watch these videos if you've not watched them before. So many of the alumni, they're positive. They are positive about the future. They are positive about what they are doing, and they are excited. So in a nutshell, I can just say, and that would be my conclusion on these 2 weeks, would be engineering is definitely a career to pursue if you want to have job security. And we've seen that in some of the videos. For the next 100 years, for the next 200 years, you don't have to worry about getting a job. So that's positive. So it's a good paying, good job providing career to pursue. Right. So I see we have covered all our questions. So this afternoon will be a bit of a shorter one. So I'm gonna conclude with my general conclusion. So Caitlin, I'm gonna start with you, then Johan, then Cara, and then the very last word to our dean. My question would be, this is now our last session. What would your final word of motivation be to somebody who's sitting out there and wondering, engineering, yes or no? What would you tell them? Start with you, Caitlin, then Johan, then Cara, and then lastly, Prof. Liesel.
Okay, that's a really good question. So I just feel if you're thinking about two different degrees to pursue, engineering doesn't only teach you how to do engineering work, it literally teach you how to solve problems. So for me, just looking at anything that I'm pursuing, I literally am using my degree in chemical engineering because it taught me how to solve problems. So yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Caitlin. Johan, let's hear from you.
Well, if I had to answer that question quite differently, well, similar to, but differently to Caitlin, it would be that engineering makes it possible to solve problems, but also not to solve them, but do it efficiently. So you would orientate your life according to these principles of energy and Newton's law, and you'd use these things to build your dreams, solve the world's problems, and do it efficiently in the same way. So it's a two-legged thing, efficiently and solving problems.
Wonderful. Cara?
Okay, so let me give you a bit of a background. So initially I wanted to go and study medicine. I wanted to become a surgeon. I really enjoyed my biology classes. But then at the same time, I spoke to one of my teachers and she had a degree in chemical engineering. And I told her, well, I'm never going to see mathematics again. How is this possible? What should I do? She said, well, if you study engineering, you're going to be doing a lot of mathematics. And that was kind of the thing that made me choose engineering. And the other thing I want to tell you to not be so nervous about what you're going to do. You're still young. Many an engineer, like Cornel said earlier, become something completely different because you have such a specific set of skills that they learn you. They teach you to work with all types of people, interdisciplinary communication skills that you definitely need. And then at the same time, in your first year, your classes are or your modules are so diverse, it still allows you to change direction. I know a lot of the BSc directions are the same as the engineering. So you don't have to be too nervous. Just know there's a lot of mathematics and a lot of fun, nerdy people.
Thank you, Cara. Yes, we are a bunch of fun and sometimes nerdy people, but we own that. So that's a lot of fun. Before I give the last word to the executive dean, Jak, ek sien jou vraag. Ek is nou graad 11, wanneer kan ek inskryf? So Jak, eenvoudig. As dit is vir die tutorprogram, dan moet jy nou gaan inskryf. Soos ek reeds verduidelik het, gaan net bietjie terug in die video, engineering.nwu.ac.za, initiatives, events and initiatives, dan gaan jy soen toe tutorprogram. Vir die tutorprogram, jy doen dit nou. Voor die einde van die week moet jy inskryf. Die ander vraag, as jy dalk verwys wat ek eerder dink jy bedoel is, en ek's opgewonde oor jou entoesiasme. As jy nou reeds wil inskryf vir oor 2 jaar, inskrywings vir volgende jaar, so vir 2022, wanneer jy eerste jaar gaan wees, Jak, is nog bietjie vroeg. Dit maak gewoonlik eers hier om en by Maart 2021 oop, so jy kan nog so bietjie 'n paar maande aanhang, dit mag dalk selfs 'n bietjie later wees, maar ek mal oor jou entoesiasme, asseblief skryf in, dit sal vir ons wonderlik wees, maar ja, so vir die tutorprogram nou, vir die graad in ingenieurswese, kan jy nog eers so 'n rukkie wag. Then, that brings us to the end, and I will give the final word to the executive team.
Goed, ek sal dit in Afrikaans en in Engels doen, want dit Dis vir my belangrik. So jy het gevra Corneels, waarom moet jy wat nie my luister, waarom moet jy ingenieurswese kom studeer? My antwoord is, want die wêreld het jou nodig. So, nou meer as ooit tevore is ons wêreld omgekeer. Ons het baie probleme, maar ingenieurs hou van probleme. So ons het baie uitdagings, ons het areas waar daar mense nodig is om nuwe planne te maak, innoverend te dink, dinge op te bou, om welvaart te skep, om geleenthede te skep, om dinge op te bou. En dit is wat ingenieurs doen. Ons gebruik ons beginsels, ons kennis van wiskunde en wetenskap van die basiese wetenskap, maar ons bou, ons ontwerp, ons skep. En dit is wat die wêreld nou nodig het. So let me answer this in English. I would like you to come and study engineering because the world will need engineers. The world is needing engineers. The world needs people that can use their skills and their knowledge, their passion about science, to create, to build, to develop. And we're very excited to be part of this and to be able to be instrumental in helping you to unleash your potential so that you can become such an engineer. So we're looking very much forward to have you here and to walk the journey with you.
Thank you very much, Prof. Liesel. So with that, we have reached the end of our very first online engineering week. It has been a lot of fun. Ek het dit ongelooflik baie geniet en die voorreg gehad om bietjie self ook meer uit te vind rakende al die ingenieursdissiplines. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact us. You can go to the website engineering.nwu.ac.za. You can send us an email at engineeringinfo@nwu.ac.za, or you can call us. We are more than willing and eager to assist you with whatever query you might have. Asseblief, as daar enige vrae nog is, besoek ons webblad. Die kontakbesonderhede is daar. Jy kan ons 'n e-pos stuur by engineeringinfo@nwu.ac.za of kontak ons via telefoon. Hoe dit ook al nodig is, hoe dit ook al sy, ons sal graag met jou wil gesels en al jou vrae beantwoord. Maar met dit weet ek is van julle baie gretig om te registreer vir die tutor program. So go visit that website, register for this tutor program. People like Caitlin and Cara and Johan, they are eager to assist you and help you realize your dream. And just as a final note, I did a bit of research on matric pass rates and these things a couple of years ago. And if I'm not mistaken, there was one matric year, I think it was the matric class of 2017. If you rewind back to that class, they started off with 1 million grade 1s. And then that 1 million grade 1s progressed in years, and then they reached their final matric year 2017. Of that 1 million that started off, the number of students or the number of learners that passed matric with a mathematics mark and a physical science mark above 75%, 80%. Of that 1 million that started off, after 12 years, the number of people with distinctions then in mathematics and physical sciences, just over 5,000. Just over 5,000. So if you are part of that very small group of people still in matric with physical science and mathematics, out of a group of 1 million, you are one out of that small group of 5,000. And out of that group of 5,000, our country needs doctors, needs engineers, needs physiotherapists, needs actuaries, the list goes on. So if you are one of them, please consider engineering. And with that, I wish you well. I wish you all the best. Ons sien uit daarna om julle te sien by die NWU, een van die dae, as ons almal weer kan terugwees op kampus. Usala sentle, totsiens, goodbye.